All right. We have, oh, my hair's crazy today. All right. We're going to read from Jack's point of view. There's Jack. His quote says, "Now here's my secret. It's very plain and simple. It's only with one's heart that can see you clearly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." It's from the story The Little Prince. All right. The call. So in August, my parents got this call from Mr. Tushman, the middle school director, and my mom says maybe he calls all the new students and welcomes them. And my dad said that's a lot of kids he'd be calling. So my mom called him back, and I could hear what they were saying on the phone. This is exactly what she said. "Oh, hi, Mr. Tushman. This is Amanda Will. I'm returning your call." Pause. "Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say." Pause. "Oh, he is looking forward to it." Pause. "Yes." Pause. "Yeah." Pause. "Oh, sure." Long pause. "Oh, uh-huh." Pause. "Well, that's so nice of you to say." Pause. "Sure." "Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, I see. I'm sure he will. Well, let me write it down. Okay, got it. I've got to give you a call after I've had a chance to talk to him, okay?" "No, thank you for thinking of him. Bye." And then she hung up, and I was all like, "What's up? What did he say?" And Mom says, "Well, actually, it's very flattering, but kind of sad too. You see, there's this boy who's starting middle school this year, and he's never been in a real school before because he was always homeschooled. So Mr. Tushman talked to some of the lower school teachers to find out who were some of the great, really nice kids coming into fifth grade. And so the teachers must have told them that you were an especially good kid, which of course I already knew. And Mr. Tushman is wondering if he could count on you to sort of shepherd this new boy around a bit, okay? Like, let him hang out with me?" I said. "Exactly," said Mom. "He called it being a welcome buddy." "But why me?" "I told you. Your teachers told Mr. Tushman that you were the kind of kid who was known for being a good egg. I mean, I'm so proud that they think so highly of you." "Well, why is it sad? What do you mean?" "You said it's flattering, but kind of sad." "Oh," Mom nodded. "Well, apparently this boy has some sort of, I guess there's something wrong with his face or something like that. Not sure. Maybe he was in an accident. Mr. Tushman said he'd explain more when you come to school next week." "School next week? School doesn't start till September." "Well, he wants you and a couple other kids to meet this kid before school starts." "Do I have to?" Mom looked a little bit surprised. "Well, no, no, you don't, but it would be nice to do the right thing, Jack. If I don't have to do it, I don't want to do it. Can you at least think about it?" "I'm thinking about it, and I don't want to do it. Can you at least, oh, sorry. Well, I'm not going to force you, but at least think about it some more, okay? I'm not calling Mr. Tushman back until tomorrow, so just sit with it a bit and think about it. I mean, Jack, I really don't think it's that much to ask you to spend a little bit of extra time with this new kid. I mean, it's not this just that he's a new kid, Mom. He's like deformed, right? That's a terrible thing to say, Jack. I mean, but you told me, like, he is, right, Mom? You don't even know who he is or what he looks like." Yeah, I do," I said, because I knew the second she started that she was talking about that kid named August. I remember seeing him for the first time in front of a carnival on Fort Avenue when I was about 5 or 6. Me and Veronica, the babysitter, were sitting on a bench outside the store with Jamie, who was my baby brother, and he sat in the stroller facing us. I guess I was busy eating my ice cream cone because I didn't even notice the people who sat down next to us. Then, at one point, I turned my head to suck the ice cream out of the cone, and then I saw him. He was sitting right next to me. I know it wasn't cool, but I kind of went, "Oh!" And when I saw him, because I honestly got scared, uh, the thought, I thought he was wearing like a zombie mask or something. It was kind of the, oh, you're saying when you watch a scary movie and the bad guy kind of jumps out of the bushes. Anyway, I know it wasn't nice of me to say that. I didn't want the kid to hear me, but I guess his sister did. Jack, we have to go, said Veronica. And she got up from the stroller, because it was, sorry, she got up and was turning around the stroller because Jamie, who obviously noticed the same kid, was about to say something embarrassing. So I jumped up kind of suddenly, like a bee had landed on me, and I followed Veronica as she zoomed away. I could hear the kid's mom saying softly behind us, "Okay, guys, I think it's time to go." And I turned around and looked at them one more time. The kid was licking his ice cream cone, and the mom was picking up a scooter, and the sister was glaring at me like she wanted to kill me. I looked away, anyways. Veronica, what's wrong with that kid?" I whispered. "Hush, boy." She looked angry. I love Veronica, but when she's mad, she's mad. Meanwhile, Jamie was practically spilling out of his stroller, trying to get another look as Veronica pushed him away. "But Veronica, you boys are naughty, very naughty," said Veronica as soon as we were farther down the block. "Staring like that, that's all inappropriate." "I didn't mean to," I said. "Veronica," said Jamie. "Us leaving like that?" Veronica muttered. "Oh, Lord, that poor lady. I tell you, boys, every day we should be thankful for our blessings. You hear me?" "Veronica!" "What is it, Jamie?" "Is it Halloween?" "No, Jamie." "Why was that boy wearing a mask?" Veronica didn't answer. Sometimes, when she was mad about something, she would do that. "He wasn't wearing a mask," I explained to Jamie. "Shh, Jack." "Why are you so mad, Veronica?" I couldn't help asking. I thought this would make her angrier, but she actually shook her head. "It was bad that we did that. Just getting up like that, like we'd seen the devil. We shouldn't have done that. I was scared for what Jamie was going to say, I didn't want him blurting out something. I didn't know what he would say, or maybe hurt the little boy's feelings. But it was very bad for us to leave like that. That mom knew what was going on. I'm embarrassed." "But we didn't mean it," I answered. "Jack, sometimes you don't have to mean to hurt someone's feelings, and you still hurt them. You understand?" That was the first time I ever saw August in the neighborhood, at least that I remember. But I've seen him around ever since then, a couple of times in the playground, a few times in the park. He used to wear an astronaut helmet sometimes, but I always knew what he looked like underneath. All the kids in the neighborhood knew it was him. Everyone had seen August at some point. We all knew his name, but he doesn't know ours. And whenever I see him, I try to remember what Veronica said, but it's hard. I try not to I try not to sneak a second look and try to act normal when you see him. What else did Mr. Who else did Mr. Tushman call?" I asked Mom later that night. "Did he tell you?" "Well, he mentioned Julian and Charlotte." "Julian? Ugh. Why Julian?" "Wait, you used to be friends with Julian," Mom said. "Mom, that was like in kindergarten. Julian's the biggest phony there is, and he's gonna try to be popular all the time. Ugh." "Well," said Mom, "at least Julian agreed to help this kid out. Gotta get him some credit for that." "What about Charlotte? Is she going too?" I asked. "Yes," Mom said. "Of course she is. Charlotte's such a goody two-shoes," I answered. "Boy, Jack," said Mom, "you seem to have a problem with everybody these days." "It's just, Mom, you have no idea what this kid looks like." "I can imagine." "No, you can't. You've never seen him. I have. It might not be who you're thinking it is. Trust me, it is. And I'm telling you, it's really, really bad. He's deformed, Mom. His eyes are like down here," and I pointed to my cheeks. "He has no ears, and his mouth is like..." Jamie had just walked into the kitchen to get a juice box. "Ask Jamie. Right, Jamie? Remember that kid we saw at the park after last year? Remember that kid? His name was August, the one with the face?" "Oh, that kid," Jamie had said with his eyes open wide. He gave me a nightmare. Remember, Mommy? That nightmare about zombies last year? I thought that was from watching a scary movie, answered Mom. No, it was from seeing that kid. When I saw him, I was like, ah, and I ran away. Wait a minute. Mom's getting nervous. Did you do that in front of him? I couldn't help it. It was like an instinct, Jeannie said, kind of whining. Of course you could. Of course you could help it, Mom scolded. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm very disappointed in what I'm hearing right now. I mean, honestly, he's a little boy just like you. Can you imagine how he felt when you were running away from him screaming? It wasn't a scream, argued Jamie. It was more like a ah. He put his hands on his cheeks, running through the kitchen. Come on, Jamie, Mom said angrily. I honestly thought my boys were better than that. More sympathetic than that. What's sympathetic? Jamie said. He's only going into second grade, so he's not that smart. You know exactly what I mean by sympathetic, Jamie. It's just, he's so ugly, Mom, Jamie says. Hey, we don't use that word, Jamie. Just go get your juice box. I want to talk to Jack alone for a second. Get out of here. Look, Jack, Mom said as soon as he left. I knew what she was going to tell me. Okay, I'll do it. Which completely shocked her. You will? Yes, fine. So I can call Mr. Tushman? Yes, Mom, yes. Okay, I said yes. Mom smiled. I knew you'd rise to the occasion, kiddo. Good for you. I'm proud of you, Jackie. She messed up my hair. So here's why I changed my mind. It wasn't so that I wouldn't have to hear Mom give me a whole lecture. And it wasn't to protect this kid August from Julian, who I knew would be a whole jerk about this whole thing. It was because when I heard Jamie talking about how he ran away from August going, ugh, suddenly I felt bad. The thing is, there are always going to be kids like Julian who act like jerks. But if there's one kid like Jamie, who's usually a nice enough kid, but can be mean, then a kid like August doesn't stand a chance in middle school. 4 things. First of all, you do get used to his face. The first couple of times, I was like, whoa, I'm never going to get used to this. And then after about a week, I was like, it's not that bad. Second of all, he's actually a cool dude. I mean, he's really funny. Like, the teacher will say something, and August will whisper something funny to me that no one else hears and totally crack me up. He's also just overall like a nice kid. And he's easy to hang out with and talk to and stuff. Third of all, he's wicked smart. I thought he'd be behind because he'd never gone to school before. But in most things, he's way ahead of me. I mean, maybe he's not as smart as Charlotte or Jimena, but he's up there. And unlike Charlotte or Jimena, he lets me cheat off of him when I really need to, though I've only needed to a couple of times. He also lets me copy his homework sometimes, though we got in trouble for it after class. The 2 of you got the exact same answers wrong on yesterday's homework, Miss Rubin said, looking at us like she was waiting for an explanation. I didn't know what to say because the explanation would have been, oh, that's because I copied August's work. But August lied to protect me. He was like, oh, that's because we did our homework together last night, which wasn't true. Well, doing work together at home is a good thing, but you're supposed to do it separately, okay? You could work side by side if you want, but you can't actually write down the same words on the same lines. Okay? Got it? After we left the classroom, I was like, dude, thanks for doing that. And he's like, no problem. That was cool. Fourthly, now that I know him, I would actually say I want to be friends with August. At first, I admit it, I only was friendly to him because Mr. Tushman asked me to be especially nice and all of that, but now I would choose to hang out with him. He laughs at my jokes, and I kind of feel like I can tell August things. Like he's a good friend. Like if all the guys in 5th grade were lined up against the wall and I had to choose someone I want to tell something to, I would choose August. Next chapter, ex-friends. Bleeding scream? What the heck? Summer Dawson has always been a bit out there, but this is too much. All I did was ask her why August was acting so mad at me, or whatever is happening, I figured she might know, and all she said was bleeding scream. I don't know what that means. It's so weird because one day me and August were like friends, and the next day, whoosh, he's hardly even talking to me. And I haven't the slightest idea why. When I said to him, "Hey, August, hey, you mad at me or something?" He shrugged and walked away. So I would take that as a definite yes. And since I know for a fact I didn't do anything to him to be mad about, I figured Summer would tell me what's going on. But all I got from her was bleeding scream. Yeah, big help. Thanks, Summer. I've got plenty of other friends in school, so if August wants to officially be my ex-friend, then that's fine. That's okay with me. See if I care. I started ignoring him since he started ignoring me in school. This is actually kind of hard since we sit next to each other in almost every class. Other kids have noticed. We start asking me if August and I had a fight. Nobody asks August what's going on. Hardly anyone talks to him, ever. I mean, the only person he hangs out with, other than me, is Summer. Sometimes he hangs out with Reed Kingsley a little bit, and the two Maxes got him playing Dungeons and Dragons a couple times at recess. Charlotte, for her goody two shoes, doesn't ever do more than nod hello to him when he's in the hallway. And I don't know if everyone's still playing the plague behind his back, because no one ever really told me about it directly, but my point is, it's not like he has a whole lot of other friends that he could be hanging out with instead of me. So if he wants to diss me, he's the one who loses, not me. So this is how things are between us now. We only talk to each other about school stuff if we actually have to. Like, I'll say, "What did Miss Rubin say the homework was again?" And he'll answer and he'll be like, maybe I can I use your pencil? And I'll get my pencil sharpener case out for him. But as soon as the bell rings, we go our separate ways. That's it. Why is this? Why this is good is because I get to hang out with a lot more kids now. Before, when I was hanging out with August all the time, kids weren't hanging out with me because they feel like they would get the plague. I think I was the only one who wasn't in on that, except for Summer and maybe the D&D crowd. And the truth is, no, that though nobody's that obvious about it, nobody wants to hang out with him. Everybody's way too hung up on being in the popular group, and he's so far from the popular group, nobody wants to hang out with him. But now I can hang out with anyone I want. I mean, if I want to hang out with the popular group, I could totally be in the popular group. Why this is bad is, well, I don't actually enjoy hanging out with the popular kids much. And B, I actually like hanging out with August, or I used to. So this is kind of messed up. I mean, and it's all August's fault. There's no reason. Snow. The first snow of winter hit right before Thanksgiving break. School was closed, so we got an extra day of vacation, and I was glad about that because I was bummed about this whole August thing, and I just wanted some time to chill without having to see him every day. Also, waking up to a snow day is just about the best thing in the world. I love that feeling when you first open your eyes in the morning and you don't know why everything seems different than usual. Then it hits you. Everything is quiet. No cars honking. No buses going down the street. Then you run over to the window, look outside, and everything is covered in white. The sidewalks, the trees, the cars on the street, your window panes. And then that happens on a school day and you find out your school's closed. Well, I don't care how old I get, I'm always going to think about that feeling. I never, I'm never going to be the one of those grown-ups with an umbrella when it's snowing, ever. Take it in. Dad's school was closed too, so he took me and Jamie sledding in the park. They say a little kid broke his neck while sledding in that park a few years ago, but I don't know if that's true or it's just one of those legends that parents tell you. But on the way home, I spotted a banged up wooden sled kind of propped up against the old Indian Rock monument. Dad said to leave it. It was garbage. But something told me it would make the greatest sled ever. So Dad let me drag it home, and I spent the rest of the day fixing it up. I superglued the broken slats together and wrapped some heavy-duty white duct tape around for extra strength. Then I spray painted the whole thing with black and white I spray painted the whole thing with alabaster sphinx I was making for my museum project, the Egyptian Museum. When it was all dry, I painted lightning in gold letters with the middle pieces of the wood, and then I had a lightning bolt I painted above the letters. It looked pretty cool. All I had to say was, Dad said, "Wow, you were right about that sled." The next day, we went to the park with Lightning. It was the fastest thing I'd ever ridden. So much faster than a plastic sled we had been using. And because it had gotten warmer outside, the snow became crunchier and wettier. Wetter. Wettier is not a word. Crunchier and wetter. A good packing snow and good for sledding. Me and Jamie took turns on Lightning all afternoon. By the end of the weekend, the snow had started turning gray and yellow, and then a rainstorm turned most of the snow to slush. When we got back to school on Monday, there was no school left. No snow left. It was all rainy and yucky the first day back from vacation. I was feeling yucky inside, too. I nodded, "Hey," to August when I saw him. We were in front of the lockers. He nodded hey back. I wanted to tell him all about lightning, sledding, and everything we did, but I didn't. Mr. Brown's the next chapter is called Fortune Favors the Bold. Fortune favors the bold. Mr. Brown's December concept was Fortune favors the bold. We were all supposed to write a paragraph about sometime in our lives when we did something very brave and how, because of it, something good happened to us. I thought a lot about this, to be truthful. I have to say, I think the bravest thing I ever did was become friends with August. But I couldn't write about that, of course. I was afraid that we'd have to read these aloud and Mr. Brown would put them up on the wall or something. So instead, I wrote this lame thing about how I used to be afraid of the ocean when I was little, and then I went in. It was dumb. I couldn't think of anything else. I wonder what August wrote about. He probably has a lot of things where he was brave. Private school. My parents are not rich. I say this because people sometimes think that everyone who goes to a private school is rich, but that isn't the truth. My dad's a teacher and my mom's a social worker. That means they don't have all kinds of money, and we used to have a car, but we sold it when Jamie started kindergarten. We don't have a big townhouse or one of those doorman buildings with elevators. We live on a top floor of a 5-story walk-up. We rent from an old lady named Doña Petra on the other side of Broadway. That's code for the section where people don't want to park their cars. Me and Jamie share a room. I overhear my parents talk about things like, "Can we do without an air conditioner for one more year? Well, maybe I can work 2 jobs this summer. How are we going to pay for that?" So today at recess, I was hanging out with Julian and Henry and Miles. Julian, who everyone knows is rich, was like, I hate to have to go back to Paris for Christmas. Ugh, it's so boring." "Dude, but it's like Paris," I said like an idiot. "Believe me, it is so boring. My grandmother lives in this house in the middle of nowhere. It's like an hour from Paris in this tiny, tiny little village. I swear to God, nothing happens there. I mean, it's like, oh, wow, here's another fly on the wall. Ugh, look, there's another sleeping dog. Yippee." I laughed. Julian sometimes can be funny. "Though my parents are talking about throwing this big party this year instead of going to Paris. I hope so." "What are you doing over break?" Julian said. "I'm just hanging out," I said. "You're so lucky," he said. "I hope it snows again," I answered. "I got this brand new sled. It's so amazing." I was about to tell him all about lightning, but Miles started talking first. "I got a new sled too, and my dad got it from Hamacher Schlemmer. It's so state-of-the-art." "How could a sled be state-of-the-art?" said Julian. "It was like $800 or something." "Whoa. We should all go sledding and have like a race down the hill," I said. That hill is so lame," said Julian. "Are you kidding?" I said. "Some kid broke his neck down there. That's why it's called Skeleton Hill." Julian narrowed his eyes and looked at me like I was the biggest moron in the world. It's called Skeleton Hill because it was an ancient Indian burial ground. Duh. Anyway, it should be called Garbage Hill now. It's so freaking junky. Last time I was there, it was so gross. It was like soda cans and broken bottles and stuff. No. I left my old sled there, said Miles. It was the crappiest piece of junk. I just left it there. Someone took it too. The next time I drove by, it was gone. Oh, maybe a hobo wanted to go sledding. Julian and Miles laughed. Where did you leave it? I asked. Oh, by the big rock at the bottom of the hill. And I went back the next day and it was gone. I couldn't believe someone actually took it. It's a piece of crap. Well, here's what we can do, said Julian. Next time it snows, my dad could drive us to this golf course in Westchester that makes Skeleton Hill look like nothing. Hey, Jack, where are you going? I started to walk away. I've got to get a book out of my locker, I lied. I just wanted to get away from them fast. I didn't want anyone to know that I was the hobo who took the sled.